Hello, welcome to podcast episode 3. I'm being joined by Anthony, who is known for Tinder surfing. So Tinder surfing is a rather interesting concept, something that took me by surprise, and kind of I stumbled across him, and we've sort of been chatting and been friends since. So tell people, Anthony, what is Tinder surfing?
Well, first of all, hello guys. Tinder surfing is something I invented. I can probably say that I invented that in the summer of 2017, when I finished my degree and I was looking at traveling, and I thought I could use. It was the year, like the long version of the stories. Um, Back in 2017, the app Pokemon Go was really big back then, and all my friends were using like I don't know, this kind of app that messes up with the settings of your phone, and they will actually use the app to change their location and go to like Central Park, New York, to catch Pokemons we didn't have in Belgium. And I thought, all right, I could get the app, actually use it for Tinder and set up my Tinder in different countries. Then I just realized with time that I could just pay for Tinder Plus. There was no Tinder Gold back then. Just pay for Tinder Plus and be able to change it from there. But anyway, so to answer your question, Tinder surfing is a perfect mix between Tinder and coach surfing. So traveling around different places and being hosted by your Tinder matches.
So with this idea, so you've had this idea. When did this come about, and what did you actually do with this idea?
Yeah, the first time was in the summer of 2017, where I finished uni. I was looking at like one last big holiday before going to work. Starting a proper office 9 to 5 job. And yeah, I had different ideas, but the Tinder I had an idea actually to bike around Europe with a chicken or with a rabbit and show a rabbit around Europe. But then yeah, I came up talking with some friends with this Tinder surfing idea, and I did that for 2 months actually, in June and July of 2017. And it took me across, I think like 9 different countries, man. I left from Brussels, quickly passed by the Netherlands in Maastricht, then went down Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Poland. And from Poland, I just flew back home.
So you're Tinder surfing the whole time. Like, where were you trying to get somewhere, or were you just kind of like just going through countries to give it a try?
The truth is, the summer before, in 2016, I went to this mad festival, man, in Hungary. It's called Balaton Sound, and I swear it's like one of the best party I have been to. So it's like, oh, I need to go back the year after. So I had tickets to go there. The festival was early July, so I had 1 month to make my way from Brussels to Hungary, like somewhere close to Budapest, like an hour drive from Budapest. So that was kind of the goal. And Germany is not the first country I would have visited, but it was just on my way, and I ended up meeting some cool people. And as I said, like Germany would, like when you think of going on holidays, Germany might not be the first country you think of. But in June, perfect weather there. Actually, met some really really cool people. So yeah, kind of glad like of the road I took was pretty cool. And other countries like Czech Republic, it's in Brno. It's like it's not even Prague, the capital. It's a city that's not even that big. And meeting up with cool locals there. I never thought I'd go on holidays ever in my life in Brno, man. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
So you started off in Germany. So you're starting on this little trip. What was it like for the first time? Did you know it was going to work, or did you have your doubts whether you'd managed to do it? Like, what was the sort of first interaction as you begin the trip?
So before leaving, I made sure this was possible. So I first started swiping and matching ladies on, like, I took a map. It's like, all right, I want to get to Hungary. Which cities are on my way? Köln, for example, Cologne. I was like, okay, that city is on my way. Let's set up my Tinder there, start matching ladies. And I realized, I could find actually sometimes even more than one lady willing to host me. And I did that in like 2 or 3 cities. I was like, okay, this seems to be going great. Like, yeah, I could just pack my bag and go. So yeah, I made sure I started swiping before actually, making the decision of leaving home. When I was on the road, I knew it was going to work because I already had, collected some numbers. I was already in touch with ladies willing to host me. So yeah, like, would I do it differently? No, probably not, because it's kind of cool to, at least in the beginning, have the 2, 3 first days have you already know where you're going. You're not going in the complete unknown. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
So do you have any like memorable people you stayed with, or you have any good experience or bad experiences at all?
Wow. Yeah, I for sure have very, very good memories. Bad memories, I wouldn't say so. Good memories, yeah. I met some people that I would have never been able to meet through other stuff. Like people that like socially like hang out with. They have different center of interest than I do. Different, And as I said, in a city like Brno, connecting with locals there is something I thought I'll never be able to do in my life. But thanks to Tinder, I did. One big positive experience that stands out to me was in Cologne. Beautiful city. I got there with no expectations. One of my first time in Germany, and I was really surprised. First of all, by the people. Everyone was so like chilled and laid back. And my host turned out to be also like super nice, friendly. She had really nice housemates as well. We went out partying, I think, for the whole weekend. So yeah, that was dope, man.
So you're meeting all these people. Do you think there's a big difference between, if you're traveling or you're backpacking, and I suppose there's people in the hostel? Was it a lot better, like actually having those local interactions and people showing you around?
Yeah, I think that the most positive point is that if you're hanging out with locals, they know the good spot where to go. Like my host usually know. All right, tonight we're going there, we're going there, and what that allowed me to do is that I was avoiding all those touristy places. Almost those tourist traps. So that was cool, and yeah, I remember once I think it was in Poland. This lady who took me to I think it was like a Georgian restaurant, like apparently it's like super known by the locals, but they were literally, I was the only foreigner in there. So I think that's the biggest advantage by being hosted by locals for sure.
Well, sounds great, kind of getting to know those those secret spots. So you had all good moments? Do you have any bits that you were worried at all? I suppose like this is the thing I've experienced with couch surfing, and it surprises people that time and time again you meet wonderfully kind people that are willing to help you out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that that's one of the things that is definitely like that what I've learned from this is that there are kind people everywhere. And sometimes you might think, another example, the Germans. Once again, you might think, oh, the Germans, cold people. The Polish people, like the Polish Jews, like all they do is drink vodka and that's it. But you go there, you meet like genuine people, like you never thought you would meet, And I'm still in touch. Actually, it's been almost 4 years now, man. A couple of weeks, it's gonna be 4 years, and I'm still in touch with some of them. So yeah, I think if you do something like that, you need to do it with an open mind, and be willing to discover other cultures, and yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it.
I mean, do you think your mentality's changed from the trip? Do you think you've taken stuff away from it that's kind of stuck with you?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. Never judge a book by its cover, and it's easy to say now, but when you somewhere, like I remember being lost on the streets of Bratislava, Slovakia, and in the middle of the night, super drunk, and you just ask those strangers, and right now, if you tell that story to someone, people will be like, "Oh my god, that must be so dangerous." No, it wasn't, man. It wasn't at all. So if there was like one lesson is uh, as I said, never judge a book by its cover, and there's genuine people everywhere at the end, and it's not because they speak different languages, or that they look different than we do, that they dress different than you, that you cannot find good connections with those people. So definitely open my eyes on a few things, and yeah, teach me to be definitely more open than I was before the trip for sure.
So I know during the trip, you have sort of these you're trying to get from A to B. Did you get any publicity? Did anyone kind of pick up on the story? I know there was some stuff. Was it afterwards that stuff came out, or was it sort of during as well?
The stuff came out after, yeah. During the trip, no, I was just sending videos to my friends, and that's it. But during the trip, there were absolutely like no press, no nothing. After the couple of weeks after, well, even a couple of months, the story kind of went viral for a week or two in the press, but yeah, not during the trip, man.
I mean, so no, it's just interesting to me. So you have a publicity. What was kind of the response from people? What do they think of the trip?
My friends were all like, "Oh my god, man, this is genius idea. This is brilliant. Like, genius, enjoy, blah 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 blah." I remember as well, like clashing with some people on social media because I was posting obviously what I was doing, and I remember having like mainly ladies, and no disrespect, but maybe ladies, commenting, "Oh my god, you're such a why are you doing this?" It's like, well, I'm just traveling and meeting cool people. If you meet them on through Airbnb, through coach surfing, it's all good. If you meet them to Tinder straight, it has this sexual connotation, this sexual idea. If some I was hosted by ladies, and I could have easily met them on coach surfing. The difference is just that I matched them on Tinder. There's literally, what's the difference? Nothing. And some people, because Tinder stays Tinder. It has this, I would say, bad reputation. It has this reputation for people. People see it kind of as a sex app, and yeah, sometimes like some people didn't even try to look further than, oh my god, he's using Tinder to travel. He's just girls around. Well, that wasn't the case, to be honest. So yeah.
No, it's yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. I think you can use it as almost like a tool to travel with. And have you? I mean, so as far as I know, after that you did another trip as well, didn't you? So the idea had sort of stuck, and you thought you'd try again.
Exactly, because I had the time of my life, like literally, and a year after I was looking to, so I started working obviously in the meantime, but the summer after I was like, okay, that was a super fun trip. Now let's take it somewhere further. Germany is cool, but I can just drive there from Brussels. Cologne is like an hour and a half driving, so I wanted to take it a bit further. So I went to Colombia, took a friend with me, and yeah, it was complete different mentalities. If you travel to Poland and Medellin, Colombia, those are like two very very different places with different mentalities. But yeah, that was for 3 weeks, and that was, man, also like a crazy crazy adventure.
So what happened once you got to Colombia? Then what kind of response did you get? And do you have any good stories you can tell from that trip?
Yeah, sure. Well, Colombia, we got first to Bogota, capital city, which is huge. I believe there's at least, if I remember well, 8 million inhabitants, 10 million people living there. So Tinder is big, of course. If you had 8 million people there, it's just that, there's way more people on Tinder than there is in any cities I could visit in Europe. So, of course, the amount of matches we could get there was literally insane, man. And so what we did, because we couldn't meet, so it was me and my friends, we couldn't meet with everyone. We were there for like 4 days, and we got literally, like, I don't like saying this, I don't like to bug, but we got like hundreds and hundreds of matches, man. It was because the city is big. It's normal. If you spend your time swiping in a city that's this big, you're gonna get matches. It's just a fact. Um, so what we did, it was like, all right, man, we tried, for the first 2 days to arrange, try and meet as many people as possible. Then we realized it was just not going to happen. We just didn't have enough time to meet with all those ladies we matched on Tinder. So what we did, we picked up a cool place that made cocktails. We sat down, share location on WhatsApp with literally every single people would have met either the day before, either on the night, either on Tinder before, and just, hey, we're in this bar for the whole afternoon, the whole evening. Come and join us if you like. And we had, I think, like something around 15 ladies, 15 different Tinder ladies showing up to the place, and it wasn't like they didn't show up in like, okay, I'm gonna go on a date, because we told them, all right, we're gonna be here. There might be some other people joining. So at the end, it just turned on to be a big, huge party with 15 different ladies, and I believe some of them are still in touch now. They got to meet there, and I remember two of them. They were like studying the same thing, and they exchange numbers, and sometimes on Instagram now I see that they're still friends. So I'm super proud of that and super happy that to me, thanks to me, and to me and my friend, and to what we did. So like some people met through us. It's unbelievable. I love it.
Well, yeah, it's almost like you come up with this event, and people have come like. I mean, I guess it's an interesting idea because it's not usually what you pitch on Tinder. I can imagine people matching, and that's not a story they expect to go with. And then you've got 15 people together that have found this kind of awesome way of meeting new people that they didn't expect.
Exactly. And as you said, it was unexpected, you know. And like even when waking up in the morning, we didn't know something like this would happen. And even when we sat down and we shared the location, it was like, all right, man, we're tired of organizing this whole stuff. Let's just sit down. We on holidays, you know, we work hard all year. Let's just sit down, have some nice cocktails. If anybody comes, perfect. If not, you know, it's me and you. There's booze. It's a cool place. There's music. We're gonna enjoy the afternoon and the evening. And yeah, we were actually surprised by how many people turned on.
So do you have any people you met or conversation you had that really stuck with you from the event?
In Colombia, you know, people live a very different reality than the one we do. And when we got to this city called Cartagena, it's like in the Caribbean. No, I mean, if not in the Caribbean, it's on the sea for sure. Like it's famous for its beaches and stuff. And it's a city that's also known for its sex tourism. And when we got there, you know, just so many, like I'll say the truth, so many Americans and so many people from all over the world, but mainly Americans, just going down there to spend some time with prostitutes. You know, those guys cannot find any lady home, so they go down there. They obviously pay the ladies. They have what they want, which is like sex for a week or two, good time with gorgeous ladies. Those ladies have no money. So when we got there, it was like on Tinder, like we couldn't Tinder serve them. And every single girl, not every single one, but most girls on Tinder are just prostitutes. So what we did, we managed to catch up with one, and instead of paying her to have sex with us, we invited her to our place, and we paid her not to have sex, obviously, but just to talk to us. Like, hey, we want one of you time. Can you tell her what's your story? Like, how did you happen? Like, how did you happen one day to wake up and say, hey, I'm gonna have to sell my body to provide my family or my needs or whatever your story is. And at first she was really shy, but it turned out to be, man, we like we ended up, everyone in the room ended up crying, me, my friend, her included. A story, it was mad, man. It's insane. It's The video is still on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, if you want to go and check it out. But basically, yeah, those people, you know, they live a very different reality than the one we know in Europe. And there's some stories that if I told you the story, like without you watching the video, I swear you wouldn't believe me, man. So yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, I have to take it a look, and obviously, you know, at the end we can give people places to find this to have a look. But I think it's interesting that you have an experience like that and something that might stick with you. And I think maybe it changes your mentality on a few things. I mean, I think that, you know, even on in the simple level, like me going traveling, you know, I struggle to have a lot of clothes, or you know, I don't own a lot of things because it has that impact. And I can imagine a story like that really sticks with you, and it might sort of, you know, when you're going through something, stuff like that will sort of recall in your mind.
Yeah, no, exactly, definitely, man. And it's something that, well, it's something I'll never forget, you know. And of course, it was 4 years ago. It's not something I think about on a daily basis. If I say that, I'll be lying. But it's something that's still in my mind. It's something that, yeah, I still think about it from time to time. And we actually, you know, we're very fortunate here in Europe to have what we have.
Yeah, I think, you know, you need to kind of see it to actually have that reference. You know, to be able to sort of have empathy for them. You need to actually have, you know, been there and had that conversation, that human contact with a person, really.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that one.
So you've done a couple trips. Obviously you abandoned the idea to go around with a rabbit, which I thought would, you know, could still be a good idea. Have you got any more ideas in the future, or you know, what are you doing now since the trip?
No, we haven't. Like the year after, we went to Miami with my friends. Didn't Tinder surf there, just on holidays. And this year, obviously, with the whole COVID, there was no big trip who was made. But you know, working now, and I made, I'll say, like I changed a bit. Like let's say, I gathered, you know, all those Tinder knowledge that I've learned through years. You know, obviously, when you spend so much time the way I did, on Tinder and swiping, and you know, crafting up a good profile to get as many matches as possible. Because at the end, you know, if my profile wasn't good, I get no matches, and that means I have nowhere to stay at night. So I had to get a good profile in order to find hosts. So what I did is, I realized that through my travels and stuff, like get a decent amount of knowledge about all Tinder, but dating apps in general work. And no, I do is I simply coach people on Tinder, and help people to craft a good profile in a positive way. Of course, due to COVID, right now online dating is booming, and it's same in UK, Belgium. We're in full lockdown, so if you want to meet someone, you cannot go out, so you're gonna meet them online. And that's why more and more people need help, because online dating is not as easy as it seems to be, and especially now competition is fierce out there, and you're gonna be able to stand out in a positive way. And I'm very happy to help guys do that across the world.
So you're coaching people on Tinder. You're coaching individuals. Like, what do you enjoy about doing it? Is it sort of like it's just a skill that you do, and it's something that's a job to you, or do you get a sense of purpose from it? Do you enjoy being able to give that to guys and actually be able to like help them find people?
Obviously, it's my job, so it pays the bills at the end of the month. That's for sure. But I love it, man. I love it. And when I see people coming and talk to me, and usually there's genuine people, the people who actually make the decision to seek for help for their profile. It means they're in a good place in the head, and they're willing to learn. So I don't have many people coming to me with with the a closed mind. People who come and see me, they're usually eager to learn and to get better. So it's very, 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 very cool, to on a daily basis work with people that are just eager to learn new stuff. And most of the time, when I speak to guys, like in for half an hour, 1 hour on Zoom, which is something I do a lot, private coaching. The guys are usually pretty happy, because the information I'm able to provide them, sometimes it's eye opening for some guys. And as I said, crafting a good profile that stands out in a positive way is not always easy. But yeah, and the stuff I love the most is that I can bring some value to those people and actually help them. And literally the best thing is when a couple of weeks later I have some guys texting me, say, "Hey, Anthony, thanks again, man. I got way more matches than I used to do. I met my girlfriend on Tinder." It happens like almost every week now, man. So it makes me super happy to see results. And at the end, sometimes it can even change people's life, because if you meet the one, thanks to Tinder, and I could play a small part in that, I'm more than happy with that. And that's cool, man.
So it's a really amazing thing. In a small way, you're making a big impact to people's lives. So did you have any, did you have anyone that was really hard to transform? Did you have any like difficult stories of someone that their profile was just awful and you managed to sort of bring it round?
Oh my god, man. Yeah, I see, obviously, I see crazy stuff, and some people's profile is um, worse than you can even imagine, worse than the worst thing you can imagine. That's one thing. But if there's like one story that stands out to me, I remember a couple of months ago, I had this guy reaching out to me and say, "Hey, Anthony, I'm your biggest challenge." It's like, okay, I do love a good challenge. Like, what's your story? And he told me, "I'm blind." It's like, oh, okay, well, that's a challenge indeed. And what we did, he had already a couple of decent photos of himself, but he just wasn't able to get results. So what we did is, I used the photos that he had already, and made it into like a sort of funny story. I made a slight Photoshop editing and stuff like that, in order to add some text to the photos that was telling a little story to the profile. And he just killed it, man. This guy, after 2 weeks, he just couldn't. Well, I would say he couldn't believe in his eyes, but well, he was blind, so maybe not the right expression to use. But yeah, no, that's definitely a story that stands out, man. And sometimes it was just a little thing, because the guy had the photo already, so it's not that I told him to do a whole photo shoot and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes you're just gonna be able to stand out. And the guy has a pretty. I could sense that from when we called on Zoom the first time, that he had a great sense of humor, and that's why I came across this idea came up with the idea, and yeah, it worked, and that's definitely a nice story of how we could turn things around.
No, yeah, I think it's a really good thing. I mean, so I guess obviously, like you said, it's a booming time for you. So I'm hoping that sort of like keeps going. And obviously, we've been in touch and chatting away, and it's been great to sort of hear a few of these stories. So I just wanted to sort of bring the podcast to a close. Is there anything you want to add before we sort of bring in your links so people can find you?
No, man. I wish you the best of luck in your next adventures. I'll make sure I'll be following that on Instagram. But I'm sure you're gonna have. Hopefully, the whole COVID allows you to to do what you want to do fully, with no health restrictions whatsoever, lockdown and mask and stuff like that. So hopefully soon. And for the rest, no, the people listening, check me out on internet. Simply zbotta.com. If you need help with Tinder, or just hit me up on Instagram, slide into those DMs, Zebotta, Zebotta, and yeah, that's it, man.
So it's just advice for men, or can women get involved with Tinder surfing as well?
Women as well, man. Of course, I have. So in terms of Tinder surfing, women could do it. I would just like, of course, tell them to be extra careful. But that's another story. In terms of the coaching, yeah, women as well, man. Of course, like everyone needs help on dating apps, And this, I'm still to find someone who's fully satisfied about his profile, the matches he's getting. There is always a small room for improvement. So yeah, everyone more than welcome.
Sounds good. It's been good to have you on. Nice to have a chat. So actually, for people listening at home, we've actually tried this already. We've made one to begin with that didn't work, and this is our second attempt. But I think it's gone really well. It's been nice to chat to you, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, take care, man. Bye bye.
See you later. Bye bye.